look at them now. They'll be on the blue side today, and they're up in the top side. We got pulungiiboi moving up from AD carry, ZaHo into the jungle from the mid lane. New mid laner here, GoodDie, and in the AD carry we got GoodDie M8 and lemester still in the support role for Craigslea.
Yeah, so 2 subs coming in, prompting a change of roles, a bit of a mix-up for Craigslea. I'm hoping this will lead to a better performance from this team because, as mentioned before, they did drop before to Merrimack in what was our first perfect game on stream. It was actually quite an impressive performance from the red side in that one. However, Craigslea looking to bounce back against Canterbury, and despite dropping earlier, I still kind of feel like they are favored. But Canterbury, they proved us wrong in game number 1. Maybe they'll do it again in game number 4 as we take a look at their lineup right now. For the red side, in the top lane, we have LonelyNumber, Flavorish in jungle, Lolitron the mid laner, Applesbrew in bot, and Nuff on support.
Yeah, same team as we saw earlier, so no switching up. I mean, Flavorish and Lolitron obviously swapping around obviously in their first game, so could potentially do the same thing again, obviously, if they want to opt for that Yasuo in the mid lane. But, of course, anything can happen in these draft phases, and we'll be jumping into pick and ban very shortly here and getting this first game underway, or fourth game underway.
You know something that's not related to League of Legends that I really like actually about Ormiston? Their school insignia had a cricket bat, yes, but it also had a baseball bat, and baseball is a criminally underrated sport here in Australia.
What's baseball?
It's like cricket, but better.
Better, you say?
I said that, and I'm pretty sure I just, like... I'm hoping not too many people here at the Ekka actually heard me say that, because that could be considered sacrilege.
I'm sure there's a big old number 7 field of cricket balls over there.
Oh, yeah, actually.
I think most people here would disagree with you when it comes to that statement.
Yeah, that's probably true. I still love my baseball.
Bloody Yankees.
Well, I've been here long enough to have played both games, and I still prefer baseball.
I mean, look, I prefer non-stick and ball sports. I think rugby is definitely the superior sport as it comes to anything. So we will be jumping out into the pick and ban phase. Craigslea and Ormiston taking each other on here. Not at the University of Queensland, at the Ekka.
Yeah, at the Ekka, as brought to you by the University of Queensland with help from our friends over at, MSY, that booth, and XP Gaming. That said, picks and bans. Our first ban is going to be the Yasuo. We have seen him in every single game so far today, so I am not surprised to see him taken away.
Yeah, and both these players actually played Yasuo, Flavorish and ZaHo, of course, the junglers, so maybe some jungle Yasuo coming in for this game, but unlikely that Silas as well being banned away.
Yeah, Silas is another person who I believe has been banned in every single game thus far, and when he's not banned, he is almost always picked. So definitely seeing a lot of our own meta being established here at the Ekka, and teams reacting accordingly. Craigslea, no, they're taking their time for their next man. It's going to be the Kane.
Yeah, of course, that was played last game by Lolitron, so just pretty much just banning away everything that Ormiston played last game in their win over Canterbury, yeah, that's the team. I mean, also, Silas, 9-15, is still a good jungler. I played a Silas jungle game last night. Really, you could feel the nerves. That's all I'm saying. You could really feel the nerves. I was 1-11.
I played a Kane jungle game last night, actually, and it went very, very well, except for the fact that we lost, but I'm going to go ahead and throw my bot lane under the bus for that one.
It's always the bot lane's fault.
Well, look, we had a top lane, Glacial Augment Nico, and I was camping that top side because it was into a Garen, and I'm like, well, this is free, and so
of course.
Got a very fast Ross Kane going. I was like 8-1, and everything was great, and then bot lane was like 0-9. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Classic bot lane player is always the most garbage in the team, let's be real.
Oof. That said, though, our priority pick is actually going to be a Taric, so a bit of a surprise in that one.
I mean, lemester did pick the Taric up last game, so it wasn't. He played against it last game, so obviously saw the power of it and is now going back to that Taric. LonelyNumber locking in the Cho'Gath once again. Hopefully not going for that Glacial build, although I feel like we will see the AP Cho'Gath once again. I definitely feel like a tank Cho'Gath is definitely better, but Flavorish getting his Udyr.
Yeah, I do believe we will be seeing a more damaging Cho'Gath. I did have a chance to speak to some of the players from Ormiston after their first performance, and LonelyNumber did express that, yes, Cho'Gath is a fun champion to play, especially when you go damage. I wouldn't be surprised if he does glitch the Glacial Augment and actually goes hard AP. He was that committed to it. Either way, we're going to wait until we get onto the Rift to find out how he's going to play the traditionally tanky champion. In response, a Udyr was locked in. Flavorish, definitely a comfort pick for him. It was banned away before, but in response, Craigslea, a lot more traditional lock-ins. Lee Sin and the Xayah.
Yeah, Xayah back again. Unfortunately not being played by the same... Sorry. It was by the same team as last time. GoodDie M8 in the bot lane, going to be taking that Xayah into the Rift. As you believe, the names you see on screen are actually just, what's it called?
Yeah, a little bit of a visual bug.
Visual bug, that's right.
Yep, so that will be taken by GoodDie M8 in the bot side. And the mid laner for Ormiston has been locked in. It will be the Veigar.
The Veigar, yes, the Veigar. Veigar. I think it's Veigar. Oh no, Veigar.
Veigar.
Because there was someone who worked at Riot, right? That's who got named over like
I don't.
I know it was in a this or that like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Isn't that important? Veigar,
It is.
Veigar?
It is.
All
Pronunciation is cost. We are the voices of the game.
Yes.
We give these characters
And
names.
he has 2 names apparently.
Veigar.
Yeah.
Veigar.
The little Yordle of like the tiny master of evil.
Yeah, that's his little thing.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, he is the tiny master of evil. He does insane amount of burst damage onto a single target. Not to mention the Event Horizon ability, you will see it in this match, is a giant box-like structure that stuns anyone who walks into it. So
Baby cage.
a very strong mid laner for Ormiston has been locked in.
And also deletes instantly, kills anybody with the ultimate if they're below a star rating.
Exactly
Lower
that.
star rating,
Yep.
instant kill.
So if you get 3 Veigars on your team, whew, it does a lot of damage. Unfortunately, though, on League of Legends Traditional Summoner's Rift, you are only allowed 1.
Damn.
Continuing on through the bans, though, Caitlyn is going to be taken away from Applesbrew. Aatrox targeted at Craigslea. Targeting these solo laners, as you can see. I'm surprised to see a Braum ban.
Yes. Peculiar ban, but we'll leave it as such. Maybe it's Taric top.
It could be. That might be something Ormiston is playing around because Braum traditionally is a support character. Taric is as well. Taric has already been selected by Craigslea, so it would have been highly unlikely for them to take 2 of these support characters. That Braum ban might be a waste. Nami makes much more sense being targeted at Nuff right there. We've already seen what that Nami could do. It was fantastic in that first game.
Yes.
But now Ormiston, they need to lock in their bot lane. Xayah is available, as is Rakan. That could be an option for them, considering that Craigslea already has their support. Triss, though, another strong late game pick. You going for that Yordle comp?
Swapping up last second, getting the
It's Xayah.
Yes, Xayah. I mean, Xayah's definitely the strongest AD carry in the game at the moment. Maybe outside of a Sivir-Yumi combination, I still think Xayah is, this premier AD carry pickup, especially paired with Rakan. Makes her extremely strong, but looks like they'll be locking in something up here on the top side. A lot of champions being hovered, a lot of strong champions as well. Aurelia, of course, a lot more of that lethal Yasuo-esque kind of playstyle, but Jayce is the lock-in. Interesting to see Jayce locked in, especially into the Cho'Gath. Should be a pretty dominating matchup early on for the Jayce. I don't know if Cho'Gath... Actually, I don't know how them. I've never seen Cho'Gath Jayce.
I do feel like it's going to actually favor the Jayce quite hard.
I mean, you'd assume so, right? Lane bully, but...
Yeah, exactly just that. Like, he should be able to bully the Cho'Gath out of lane as much as possible. However, with the Mundo locked in, I do believe that will be the Jayce being taken mid lane, actually, into the Veigar.
I actually like that more.
Yeah, that also makes a lot more sense because Cho'Gath does have that sustain to survive the poke. Taking something like Mundo instead... Yes, Mundo has strong poke as well, but also does health percentage damage.
Yeah.
Cho'Gaths traditionally have a lot of health, so that Mundo is going to be much more effective with the harass thrown down. And that leaves the support. We're seeing the Lux hover. I would like the Rakan. It is still available and synergizes perfectly with Xayah, but instead we're seeing Sona.
Yeah, again, Ormiston with this solo QE comp. Nothing really works together, but hopefully they're just going to move through. But, I mean, Craigsley's comp isn't that great either. Nothing really synergizes for either of these sides, and it's going to come very much down to whichever team gets more fed and whichever team kind of happens to get an opportunity. I think we're in for a long game here.
Yeah, this could be a longer one, but if that is the case, I actually like Ormiston's team comp a bit better.
Yeah.
Udyr gets stronger and stronger as the game goes along. So does Veigar, so does Cho'Gath especially, to scale health indefinitely. But Craigslea, I think they might have the advantage, especially in the early and the mid game. You have super strong jungle mid-lane synergy.
Yeah.
You have an AD carry that can spike mid-ish game as well and can definitely play around Sapnupos once he gets going.
Yeah.
Craigslea, if they have control of this game at like the 20-25 minute mark, I think they should be able to ride that to that victory. But Ormiston, they surprised us in the past. They won maybe in moments when they perhaps shouldn't have. Perhaps they can do a little bit of that, mid-game magic yet again.
Look, I definitely have to say, Craigsley's very much, like the game's either going to go really long or Craig is going to win it. Like very quickly, like within 20-25 minutes, right? If Jayce and Lee Sin can dominate, I think ZaHo is obviously their key player. one of their best players, and he is definitely someone you have to keep your eyes on. Obviously, swapping roles into the jungle into this Lee Sin, so could change up a little bit, but ZaHo is where we need to focus around and make sure he's the key carry here on this Lee Sin, and he's definitely being factored early on. I think against the Udyr, he's definitely favored, but the Jayce as well should be winning against this Veigar.
Yes, we are loading on to the Rift. Those of you here at the Ekka, yes, the players have soundproof headphones, but if you cheer loud enough, maybe ye can hear you. So give it up for Craigslea on the blue side, taking on Ormiston on the red side.
Hey, there we go. 4th time lucky, finally getting some noise in the crowd. But Ormiston here, looking like they're just going to go for a more defensive setup. Craigslea maybe expecting an invade here, stacking 3 members in the brush. Nothing of such will happen. Interesting to see Jayce opting for the Debonair skin, not going for that new Academy Jayce skin, one of the best skins in the game in my opinion. I think it's very nice, clean skin. I mean, I don't play Jayce, I haven't used that skin, but I've heard good reviews about it.
Jayce, I am actually a fan of his basic skin the most. I think Jayce looks perfectly fine as is, although Debonair Jayce is quite nice. Really, I just don't like Jayce in general as a person.
Full
Metal is the one I usually use, yes.
What's the one with the really small cube?
Yeah, it's the Full Metal.
Is that Full Metal?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Isn't it like a red one there? It's a red cube?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's whatever. Either way, though, Jayce is
yeah.
If you go into the lore of League of Legends, because all these characters do have backstories, Jayce, kind of a not nice person. He portrays himself as this wonderful freedom kind of dude. He's kind of like Iron Man. Yes, he's this magical inventor that helps save the town and all that. But behind the scenes, he's a little bit of a jerk.
Yes. I think Victor's definitely the better of the two.
Oh, yeah.
Victor's got a much more subtle story, a much more sentimental story. I think Jayce is just the keen ruler of
he is the Chad.
Piltover. He's the Chad. He's the Chad of Piltover, yeah.
He is the Chad. But really, though, if we're going to go talking lore, out of all the characters in this match right now, really Lolitron's Veigar has the best lore, especially how they've redone it, because it's like the tiny master of evil in that mid lane. And essentially, he's that character that always tries to be bad and evil, but winds up helping who he's trying to be evil against.
Yeah,
that's seriously his thing. Like, he'll try and destroy a town's water supply, but wind up cleaning it instead, and free water for everyone kind of deal. Like, just really incompetent at being evil. Hopefully, though, Lolitron in this game is going to be quite competent in this matchup, but already, if you take a look at that CS score, it is GoodDie M8 getting that lane advantage.
I mean, Veigar does actually struggle really heavily against poke. One of his strongest counters is Zoe. Obviously a very strong poke mage. I think I love playing that match. Whenever I see a Veigar locked in the enemy team, of course, if I get to pick second, otherwise it's I've locked in Yasuo, I see the Veigar and I go, I'll be dodging this game. But no, if there's a Veigar locked in first, I go, what do I want to play? Do I want to play my Talia? Do I want to play my Zoe? How am I going to kill this little thing over and over again? And I thoroughly enjoy playing against the Veigar. However, into this matchup, I mean, Jayce has a similar thing, right? Interesting, Electrocute as well built on this Veigar, not the traditional Arcane Comet.
Yeah, that is a bit of a surprise, because normally if you land the Event Horizon with the Veigar, if you opt to take the Comet rune, that does enable more damage, as a little Comet would fly from the champion and nail his opponent as he is held in place. But instead, going for Electrocute, which means he'll get an additional damage proc if he lands 3 autos or 3 ability hits on his opponent. A different style indeed, one that's a little bit tougher to pull off on the Tiny Master of Evil, but, it could lead to some interesting trades as junglers walking into each other into the mid lane. ZaHo getting bursted out despite having the buffs. Genie is able to react first. A big engage from ZaHo, but help coming from above. LonelyNumber going to try and turn things around back for Ormiston. Genie actually going in on this Cho'Gath. ZaHo returning, but the Rupture buying some time. LonelyNumber in between a bad situation will get brought down. First blood going to pulungiiboi.
Yeah, and that's just a note of Craigslea having the stronger early game champions. Honestly, I thought ZaHo could have taken the 1v1 and just waited for the Jayce to walk up and they would have won it. And not really had to run away from Flavorish, especially with the Safeguard being able to give shielding to him and GoodDie M8. But no mana on this Jayce means that, unfortunately, doesn't actually have down a lot of damage. I mean, obviously, did still take down LonelyNumber, given the fact that pulungiiboi was able to collapse onto that bot side. But again, very close matchup overall.
That was a bit of an unfortunate, as the Shock Blast went the wrong way right there. So Lolitron kind of winning that trade in the mid lane. Really, Genie needs to be careful. No mana on this Jayce as Lolitron trying to abuse him, but a good sidestep of the W keeps Genie alive and healthy for now. A bit of a roam happening as ZaHo has his eyes set on that mid lane. He's going in for it. Does the Warthog, follows up with that Aura Spear, forcing the flash out of the Veigar.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is lack of sorry, Genie Tame having no mana. If he had mana, obviously could have transferred to that Shock Blast earlier, gone for the Empowered Shock Blast and landed it, but it does actually take a lot of mana early on, about 110 mana, I think, out of 200 mana.
Oh no, this looks very bad. Lolitron will go down. Genie, despite being ignited and run down by the minions, he falls as well, so a trade in the mid lane, 1-for-1.
I think that's better actually here for the Veigar. I think minion wave is positioned better for him. I mean, it will all sit to freeze, and actually, no, it's definitely better for the Jayce in terms of minion leads. But Veigar, of course, getting a kill back onto this Jayce is beneficial. Down in CS, actually, no, I'm wrong. It's so much better for Jayce.
Yeah, it's really just going to be accelerating the Jayce more so to hit his early game power spikes. Like Genie trying to get himself in that position to really take this game over. Yes, it's unfortunate that he fell, so it is a little bit of a, you know, consolation prize for this Veigar, but Lolitron, he's still going to have a tough first 15 minutes in this one.
Well, I mean, in saying that, Genie Tame lost a lot of minions there because his wave was bigger and it was on Veigar's side of the map. So Veigar just came back to like a wave and a half, and Genie actually lost an entire half a wave because his minions killed them all while he was not in lane. So I was actually right in the first place saying it's much better for Veigar.
pulungiiboi does not care about minions. He's walking straight through him, getting a lot of damage onto LonelyNumber. The cleaver not quite enough to take the Cho'Gath down, but that is knowing a champion. The minute he recognizes, you know what, I can win this fight, he just steps forward and abuses his Cho'Gath.
Yeah, I mean, Cho'Gath here, you know, is really weak on until he starts getting some health. Obviously, we don't know what build exactly LonelyNumber is going for. If he goes for that more AP-heavy build, it's definitely going to be a lot weaker, and especially into Mundo, who's very strong against magic damage threats. Obviously, has that Glacial Augment, so it looks like he will be going towards that build, but I would definitely recommend against it.
Oh, the roam from Genie finds another kill. Another one taken for Craigslea as they are up 3-1 early in this. 100% kill participation right now from this mid laner, as down below the stun connects onto Nuff, who's in a lot of trouble. No level 6 available, so the big crescendo cannot be used. Applesbrew is currently the target, however. Lemester getting a lot of damage. GoodDie actually flashing forward, but will not be able to find the Xayah, who burns flash as well until she steps back in. Near disaster for Applesbrew. However, it's, Xayah is able to stay alive.
Yeah, Xayah just barely staying alive there. Having to burn the heal though, so cooldown cost out. The flash a little bit over-aggressive here from the Kai'Sa, but in this mid lane you can see Flavorish is posturing for a game.
Yeah, this would be a very interesting player right now. For the most part in this game, Flavorish has been actually quite quiet. This is the nature of the champion. In these past couple games, we have been mentioning, you know, watch these jungles early. They're going to be making big plays. This is not the case for Ormiston. Udyr is very much a late-game jungler. He wants to hit level 6. He wants to power farm, transition that to a side lane, and just be annoying all the time. As you can see right here, Genie sees the Udyr running at him. No gap closures, really, except for Flash, and Flavorish doesn't want to burn it right there. So all what Genie has to do is step back, and he's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Udyr is definitely one of the worst champions in the game, in my opinion. I think he's, you know, quite useless, doesn't really do anything. Whenever I see him on my team, he ints. Whenever he's on the enemy team, he somehow manages to be 16-0 because my bot lane is just trolling. I don't know. I feel like if Udyr got removed from the game, I don't think anyone would complain except for Trick2G.
Yeah, but, and all
Trick2G's
fans. All Trick2G's fans would complain as well.
Who cares about them?
I mean, he cares about them.
I hate Trick2G so much.
Wow. That is some strong language live on stream right there.
It tilts me, man.
Meanwhile, up top at the moment, pulungiiboi, again, continuing to sort of shove in against LonelyNumber. He feels strong enough in this lane matchup. The creep score does show it. Already 30 CS up over his lane opponent. While the rest of Craigslea, they're looking at an early Mountain Dragon.
Yeah, Mountain Dragon should just go down quite easily here. Very strong objective, and Craig's looking very good in this game. 3k gold up already, 3 kills as well. CS leads in all of their lanes, especially up in this top side where pulungiiboi is putting a masterclass on for LonelyNumber, who is getting dumpstered up there in that top side.
Yeah, it's been a tough game for LonelyNumber at the moment, and I have to be a little bit critical of like the decision to go Glacial Augment in this as a result. I wanted to see the more tank build. I think if LonelyNumber had been going more tanky, maybe he'd be able to sustain this abuse from the Mundo a bit more. However, action down below as ZaHo forces out the crescendo from Nuff, but it's not enough to keep him alive. ZaHo with the execute. Meanwhile, in mid lane, actually, that was a kill taken back from Ormiston, so it's 3-for-1 across the map. Flavorish going under tower. He wants it, but the tower is going to win this fight for Genie. Genie actually won a 2v1 there.
Yeah, 2v1 there in the mid lane from Genie Tame. This Jayce is so strong early on, especially with that serrated dirt complete already, giving that extra lethality, extra flat armor pen, and he should be backing after this to grab that Yomo's Ghost Blade, and Jayce is going to be very strong in this mid game.
And this is the complete opposite performance that we saw out of Craigslea from the Game 2 today.
Yeah.
Game 2, they struggled early, they struggled mid, and then we never really got to late. However, this time they're off to an explosive start. Already 4 kills on this mid laner, less than 10 minutes in. Genie is going to be a monster.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty big when it comes later into this game. Also, rushing at that first lethality item.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do on Jayce. You want that lethality, you want that burst.
I mean, it depends on the matchup, right? Like, if I was into the Cho'Gath and I saw the Cho'Gath stack early armor, I'd probably start building the Cleaver. It's very dependent. Obviously, Youmu's and Dustblade are like more poke-heavy, team fight-focused Jayce, right? Where if you want to win those side lanes, want to be more more dominant, you go for the Black Cleaver straight into the Last Whisper, which is, stronger against the tanks. But obviously, he's just going to be bursting down Applesbrew, Nuff, and Lolitron.
Lolitron in a bit of trouble right here. It's happily able to back out of that one. Yes, the Event Horizon came down, but was not able to connect. See, okay, here's the thing. When I play Jayce, it's an ARAM. And if you don't go hard damage Jayce in ARAM, you're doing ARAM.
Yeah, I mean, why are you playing ARAM?
Because they're fun. I played the game for fun, unlike certain people sitting next to me.
Maybe. I play the game for fun, just winning is fun.
Yeah, and ARAMs are fun. I win at them a lot because I go hard damage Jayce.
Fair enough. I think ARAM should be removed from game.
Wow.
But hey, that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like it, no one should be allowed to like it.
This is correct.
All right, I see how it is. Nuff in a lot of trouble right here, though. Will get stunned and taken down by ZaHo. A great insect right there on the Applesbrew. He won't be able to escape. That was some clean Lee Sin right there.
It was very clean, a little bit slow, but still very clean from ZaHo. I mean, I've seen like the Chinese, when you watch the Chinese Lee Sin compilations, and it's like they're at one side of the screen, all of a sudden they're on the other, it's like, what happened?
Yeah.
I don't understand. But very clean there out of ZaHo, that flash kick. Classic Lee Sin mechanic. I remember back in the day when it was first ever done by Insect, everyone was like, whoa, and then you look at you go, could have been better.
Action up top right now. Actually, pulungiiboi doing a good job turning the damage back onto Flavors, but LonelyNumber is just wailing on this Mundo. Ultimate has been used, which means the health regen is going to be massive for pulungiiboi, and here comes the assist from ZaHo, forcing out the flash, but they're going to follow through. ZaHo with yet another kill, and pulungiiboi once more. He doesn't care about the tower. He's a Mundo. He goes where he pleases, and with help from ZaHo, they should take down Flavors. A huge tower dive for Craigslea.
He goes where he pleases. Yes, he does. Mundo, the big old Dr. Rooney. I mean, isn't he like 12 or something like that?
No. What?
I thought the character was like 12. He's
No.
like a morphin' boy.
No. He's a no. That would be horrible.
That's his law, no? He's like a crazy. He was in a mental asylum.
Mundo is not 12 years old.
Oh, I thought he was.
I've never heard that.
Really?
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. If someone in the Twitch chat, I can actually actively see that at the moment. If someone thinks I'm wrong there, go ahead and correct me. But to my knowledge, Mundo was like an assistant to Singed or something.
No, that was old law.
Oh, yeah. Oh, if his lord's changed, I have no idea. That's all out the window.
I mean, maybe he's not actually. I don't know. There's like a thing about he was like a young boy and he like took over the ward. Pretended to be a doctor and would fix the other patients.
Oh, Genie actually in a bit of trouble. A roam from Ormiston's coming through, but ZaHo is here for Craigslea. Does not matter. Crescendo connects with both members, and here comes Craigslea with the teleport in the middle. Nuff is going to try to back away, but Applesbrew is still standing quite far forward. In comes ZaHo. Yes, he's rooted, but it does not matter. Applesbrew will fall. And pulungiiboi, again, we've learned this before. He doesn't care about towers. He'll get that double kill as Nuff is unable to escape. Flavorish is going to retreat underneath that tower. Can't find anything for him, and action starts to slow down. A lot of members of Craigslea in mid. They can go anywhere in the map from this stage.
Yeah, it can go absolutely anywhere. Craigslea really dominating in this first game back on stage for them. 13 minutes into it, 14-2 in kills. They're looking very dominant, and ZaHo on this Lee Sin is going to be that huge member in this.
Event Horizon does connect onto Lemstar, and he's responding with the ultimate. They want this tower, maybe even a fight. pulungiiboi throwing those cleavers, not quite connecting on who he wants, but it doesn't matter. The damage should be there. The tower should fall. No, instead, Craigslea actually are going to back away, so a bit of a break for Ormiston. Really, it only would have been a couple more autos, but in their eyes, that Infernal Dragon is the bigger prize.
I mean, there is so much gold here already been taken by Craigslea. They don't actually need to take out that gold. They're just getting that last tower plate, and of course, First Blood tower already gone down up in that top side, and bot lane as well. Had all towers, all places except for one taken, so...
pulungiiboi in a bit of trouble, has to use his ultimate, so he'll be getting health quickly. Needs to be careful from LonelyNumber's execute of an ultimate. pulungiiboi is low, but the stun comes through, and LonelyNumber falls instead. Here comes Genie, so much damage off that shot glass, actually pretty much one-shots Nuff, as the rest of Ormiston will fall. Another great kick from ZaHo will not save him from the tower, but he did his job. Another 4 kills in favor of Craigslea.
Yeah, that's a huge team fight one for Craigslea. Veigar picking up one on the backside, but that empowered shock blast chunking him down to quarter health. And now Lolitron has to be very careful because one Jayce Q could definitely take him out.
Yeah, Genie is doing so much work right now with that Youmuu's. Already has 2 more long swords built. So Jayce, he's not even at like his critical power spike yet. As soon as that Dusk Blade is completed, it's going to be nasty what Genie is going to be doing.
I mean, the fact that Genie's been allowed to go 2 lethality items is just credit to how far ahead he actually is. Generally, Jayce can only go 1 lethality item before he starts to fall off and has to usually start building that Blight Cleaver second, or you know, if he's going to go another lethality item, it has to be that Knight's Edge, something that's a little bit more defensive. But I think he can definitely go for the Duskblade Youmuu's full lethality Jayce, which is a very scary threat, who's going to be nuking especially those 2 backline threats for Ormiston.
Yeah, Ormiston, they just, unfortunately for them, in a bit of a tight situation right now. We did mention at the start of this game that it's going to be the Lee Sin Jayce combination that's doing a lot of damage. I'm curious how they'll be able to respond, because if they can weather the next 15 minutes, there is a chance for Ormiston to come back in this one. And it's something we've seen them do before. Yeah. Like, we saw this crazy comeback from them earlier in the day, but that was 6K. Already, less than 20 minutes into this game, Craigslea has twice the lead that Canterbury had over this game.
Yeah, I mean, look at the size of pulungiiboi here. 1v5 down in spot. So we'll go down. We'll get caught out, but definitely could have done some damage there.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, it wasn't clean for Ormiston. Yes, they get the kill, but a few ultimates actually burned. The big one is the crescendo from Nuff, just kind of whiffed into the middle of nowhere. And Craigslea, they're going to go ahead and actually start this Rift Herald as Ormiston kind of runs around in the jungle.
I mean, this Rift Herald could actually be game-ending here. If they get a big team fight into a Rift Herald mid, they will end the game, right? Like, they can win the game off 1 more team fight. So Ormiston be very careful not to go down here as a squad, because Craigslea are in a key position to end this game.
Yeah, Craigslea are looking very strong. You can see that Void Seeker doing a nice little chunk of damage to Lolitron. Enough to scare Ormiston back into their own base. It is a 4v5, but even then, Ormiston do not want to deal as the Rift Herald has been dropped. So Craigslea has their eyes set on this mid lane tower. Here comes that siege. There's no minions to kind of help this Rift Herald, so Ormiston might get lucky here, but if they step too far forward, there is a chance of a collapse.
Yeah, I don't like the use of the Rift Herald there. They had so much longer to hold on to it. They should have waited for the wave and looked for a fight. And then after they won the fight, then you drop the Herald, because that's how you end the game with the Herald and get the most benefit out of it. Unfortunately, though, that's not the case here for Craigslea, and Ormiston stay alive a little bit longer. They do maybe lose their top tower, but looks like they'll be able to rotate it and keep it up before it goes down.
Yeah, it will be a quick rotation right there for pulungiiboi. He's trying to get pressure, but a lot of members from Ormiston are coming through. But a nice little pick by ZaHo, taking advantage of the vision, taking down Applesbrew, and without that Xayah, there's not a lot Ormiston could do to stop the siege.
No, there's not a lot we can do. That's the main source of their wave clear. Veigar, although he has a little bit of a scaling, doesn't have the best wave clear until he gets a little bit later into the game to get more points in that event. Not event,
Oh, Genie, he's going to go for the 1v3. He instantly takes down Nuff, and here comes ZaHo to help out. Cleaver slowing Flavor is forcing flashes from both him as well as LonelyNumber. pulungiiboi trying to chase, decides he doesn't want to go too deep. And as all this is happening, up top, Craigslea is taking over the top side of the map. They've already taken down 2 towers. They're looking at that third. Only Lolitron can defend, really. This is just an attack on all fronts.
That was so much damage from Jayce. He just instantly killed Nuff. Sure, he's the squishiest member, and of course double heal as well for Ormiston, probably suboptimal. But regardless, that is still a ridiculous amount of damage to be putting out that quickly.
Yeah, it is, and there's really not much you can do to defend against it. ZaHo, though, caught in the Advent Horizon, will get stunned by Flavorist, and the chain CC is there. So a nice pickup for Ormiston will slow down this attack.
Yeah, it does do that just a little bit. Unfortunately, taking them down, but 20-5 in kills, 12 go ahead. Ormiston has still a very large amount to climb. 18 minutes into the game if they want to get back in this one.
Yeah, it is a very tall mountain, but I need to consider to I need to continue to emphasize the fact that Ormiston did in fact have this crazy comeback in their first game of the day this morning. Yes, it was literally double this. They were 6K down.
Yeah.
Now they're 12K down. That's okay, though. You get a couple fights going your way, and Ormiston has proven to me they know how to team fight. They know how to chain CC on priority targets. We just saw it there onto ZaHo, so maybe if LonelyNumber gets that, 3-man rupture, and then the follow-up, with the roots from Applesbrew, a crescendo coming through from Nuff, and if you have that damage from Lolitron, hey, you can win this fight.
Yeah, it's definitely an option to do that, and I think Lolitron as well definitely needs to think about that. And you know, if he can land that option, he does do a lot of damage. But over goes another dragon, a Cloud Dragon, which will be running around this map twice as fast. And now the big purple worm, the Baron Nash, spawns in the next 10 seconds. And I think that could be the game-ending play here for Craigslea.
Yeah, that's definitely where Craigslea should be looking for to kind of cement this one in their favor. That range harass does so much work, but a nice event Horizon actually half health ZaHo, so Craigslea need to be a little bit careful now.
I mean, ZaHo's still half health, but should be able to get it up again pretty quickly here. Starting to build towards the item, also has the smite, so it can just go into the jungle and take a camp or two and be back up at full health. As it looks like ping's coming down into the dragon, they might go and start it immediately and try to force a fight.
Yeah, that could be the decision-making right now. You can see Craigslea, they have complete control of both jungles. Ormiston really unable to leave their base to sort of attack any part of the map. And with that, Craigslea, they're getting every single buff, they're getting every single objective. It's really only a matter of time, I feel Craigslea is thinking, until Ormiston takes too far many steps out of the base, they collapse on them, and then maybe open the game up that way. But if you want to accelerate it, you go for the Baron.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's definitely the way to go, and I think they should 100% do that. They've also got the Rage Blade and the Mana Mune completed on this Xayah, so it's going to be doing % nice HP damage, stacking up very quickly on the Baron, which means with the Mountain Dragon as well, this Baron should melt away.
Yeah, it definitely will. Once Craigslea decides to pull that trigger, it's just a bit of a waiting game for when they decide to do it. When do they feel it is most optimal? It could be after this reset, as you take a look at the moment. That is both lemester as well as pulungiiboi opting to recall, get some more items, get a little bit beefier, and maybe now we will see that rotation. At the moment, though, Flavor is feeling a bit adventurous, actually getting some deep rewards in his own jungle, trying to possibly set up a pathway for that potential Baron steal.
Yeah, exactly. Pathing around those Krugs there is something where no one really wards. Generally, the passage would be through the Raptors camp, right, is where most people walk all around through the red buff there, but looks like Craigslea going to move in here and start putting some wards down of their own.
Yeah, and this is where, if you're Ormiston, you need to be very careful. When you're establishing vision back, you don't get caught out on that sort of ebb and flow. Yes, Craigslea retreated to buy items, but you can't be caught out when they return back to the scene. And very, very quickly, you can see Craigslea establishing that vision right on back. Once again, the jungle is theirs, and Ormiston retreating back to their own base. It's really hard for Ormiston at this stage, but, you know, they are slowing the pace down. Like, they're not letting themselves get caught out too frequently and too many stupid mistakes.
But is it Ormiston slowing down the pace, or is it Craigslea being unable to really find a way to crack through this pace? You see, finally a tower goes down.
Yeah, a tower does go down for pulungiiboi as Applesbrew steps forward, doesn't want to go too far out of the base. As this is happening, though, the Baron has been started. There is no one from Ormiston near, and it will be a clean secure for Craigslea.
Yep, and now off this, I think they can just go mid here, and maybe get the Mundo back going top or bot. And obviously off this reset, just take the game from there. This should be a very swift 23, 24-minute, probably 25-minute victory here for Craigslea.
Yeah, really one more team fight could put this one away. Craigslea have been in control from the word go in this one. Ormiston, a very defensive game, and I'm going to give them credit for not, you know, really throwing it away at that stage, as we've seen other teams do in this. At the Ekka, Canterbury, unfortunately, in a similar type situation, they kept trying to play aggressive. They kept stepping forwards. Ormiston doing the smart thing. They're staying back. They're making it hard.
Yeah, exactly. They're making it difficult for Craigslea to really crack their base, and it's required them to go and get this Baron to really start sieging up with these big minions. But once the cannon waves start stacking up, once these supers start coming through, it's going to be more and more difficult for Ormiston to hold out.
Yes, that might be the case as we're taking a look at this mid-siege with the Baron. Something that Craigslea actually do appear to be struggling with is that wave clear. You'd think it would be high with Genie being able to sort of shock blast those waves, but then he's not using it to poke. And on the side of Ormiston, yeah, you actually have some solid wave clear through Lolitron, so it is tough to push through. However, that inhibitor is exposed, and pulungiiboi has been putting so much pressure on the top side of the map, eventually something is going to crack.
Yeah, I mean, finally for them. Whoa, what was
Genie was able to snipe down Applesbrew, and that might be opening the floodgates as Genie comes pouring on in. Lolitron enough fall quickly after, and with only 2 members defending for Ormiston, this could be Craigslea looking to end the game.
Yeah, this should be the game ending here from Craigslea. Of course, 25 minutes just on schedule with that Baron coming through. Both the inhibitors go down. Nexus Tower should be falling next in, unless they go under this tower.
Yeah, they're looking for it. You saw the Taric ult get used, thinking of a possible fountain dive. Not going to happen right now. pulungiiboi, all he's going to do is zone away the members of Ormiston while the rest of the team takes down those Nexus towers. ZaHo going in, they want some more kills, but he's rooted in place, nearly eaten alive, but it does not matter. Craigslea is too strong. The crescendo comes too late. 4 more members fall from Ormiston. Only LonelyNumber is left alive as the Nexus will begin to fall. Craigslea will take game 4.
Yeah, and actually, do you know Taric also works under the mountain?
I believe it does.
It does?
I believe so. I could be wrong.
Because I mean, like, GA doesn't work and stuff like that,
No,
right?
GA does not work.
Which I found out the worst way possible. I was like, oh, perfect game. I can go into the fountain and not die. And then, unfortunately, went down. But a very swift victory from Craigslea. I did say this game is either going to end extremely quickly or it's going to go very, very late. And Craigslea showed us they could take this advantage and stomp through Ormiston. Unfortunately, them going 1-1 today, both sides. 1 loss, 1 win. So good to see both sides are getting on stage, getting a win, getting a loss, experiencing those different emotions. But nevertheless, we have our game of the day coming up next, our 5th matchup of the day, Merrimack versus SBS. But before we get onto that, MVP and Ace.
Yeah, MVP and Ace. I think MVP for this one is probably, I mean, between Genie and ZaHo.
Yeah.
I think really Genie did fantastic in that matchup, but some of the plays I saw out of ZaHo were like, you know, jaw-dropping.
I think ZaHo was MVP.
Yeah.
I would have to give him, especially in the first game as well, I think he was quite good as well. So I'd probably say ZaHo, you know, obviously for the team, had the best performance today as a whole. On Ormiston's side, though, it's very difficult for that second game to really give an MVP. I think both teams kind of struggled a little bit and really trying to, you know, do anything. I think you can't really say on Ormiston if anyone was that good, but I think from the first game we think back to, I think Flavorish on that Yasuo would have to be the MVP, and so because there was no real standout performer for them this game, I think we'd have to give it to him overall for the day.
I do agree. I mean, unfortunately, Flavorish opted for a much more passive jungler this time around as opposed to the aggressive one we saw in game number 1. And as a result, you know, the team lost a lot harder early.
Yeah.
If he had played something a bit more like a Xayah or even
exactly.
a Jarvan, something that could have been a bit more aggressive early in this one, maybe he would have had a larger impact. I mean, for the most part, he played Udyr correctly, right? Like, he was just power farming. He was waiting